must thank you for joining me today on the latest discussion about resilience. The last couple of episodes, seriously, they were, as my dear brother Paco would understand, those are totally off the cuff. And most of these episodes are off the cuff, meaning I don't write these out ad nauseum and write them out and then just read them back to you. I do jot down some notes to guide my observational process into what I understand about what to share with you today. But for the most part, especially the last 2 or 3 or 4 episodes were in that vein, meaning I just open up the conversation with my greeting to you and then let whatever comes through come through that microphone into recording, into the publishing process, and then out to you that chose to select or have some interest in what I just said today. So, given all that, for today, I have some notes, some outline I want to touch on today. And this could be in 2 parts, could be 2 episodes. But 2 things I want to talk about today, or today and the next today when it comes. Meaning, they're called the bucket list and the burning platform. So, as another part of the introduction, resilience, the beauty of presence, the book itself, represents a philosophy on the spiritual edge or the spiritual perspective of that thing called leadership that lives within everyone. This thing about resilience and leadership lives within everyone that you will ever meet, including yourself. So, as a background reference or reintroduction of the book itself, Resilience, the Beauty of Presence, consider accepting what you don't know. That is, I ask you to get a bit uncomfortable with the idea of leading for yourself before you decide to lead or follow anyone else. So, as I said earlier, I want to touch on 2 different things, but they are kind of related and may have to cover them in 2 separate episodes, but let's see. Let's start with those 2 things, the bucket list and the burning platform. And first and foremost, the bucket list. I would imagine you have heard about that thing called the bucket list. How many of you out there have one? Think about that. Let's start there. So let's say you do have a said bucket list. Just hold on to that thought. You have a bucket list, yes? I'm asking you a question. How does that make you feel to have that bucket list? Okay, so you have a bucket list. If you were to die today, how would that make you feel about your bucket list? Would you think that remember, I'm asking you, if you were to die today, got your bucket list, and you think about the bucket list now, how would that make you feel today? That you were unsuccessful, unfulfilled, because you didn't cross off everything on that list? Okay, if you didn't have a bucket list and you were to die today, how would that make you feel? You might still feel unfulfilled, right? Let's say, going a little further, that you have the best bucket list ever. And let's say that you won't die tomorrow and you won't die today and not until tomorrow, hypothetically. If we were to assume, I would agree that that thing called tomorrow is going to come, but you won't die today, but you will die tomorrow, right? How would that make you feel about your bucket list? You would probably prioritize those 1 or 2 or 3 things on that list that you know you need to do before the end of tomorrow, right? I'm not questioning the development of your bucket list. I only asked you to compare the value of that list to the time you feel you need to complete that list. The time to focus your awareness is always and only now, in this present moment, through every experience you have the pleasure to have and experience today. I mean, not to the experience or to anything on a list. Through the experience like the one you and I are having right now. In this moment, right now, we share separate and faint heartbeats. Let me say that again. Right now, in this moment, you and I are actually sharing separate and faint heartbeats. In this moment, that heartbeat may seem insignificant when compared to those things on the list, on your bucket list. And this discussion probably did make the cut onto your bucket list. But in this moment, I hope you can feel the beauty of this discussion, the underlying value to you today in these moments, in your presence here and now with me. So I do wish you the best of success in completing your bucket list. Just be sure, however, to feel less of the value on what's on your mind and what's on your list, and more of what comes from and lives within your heart. So just as a hypothetical example, hypothetically, if this heartbeat right now, if this heartbeat is the last one you can ever have, live it special, live it uniquely, dream it uniquely, dream it fully. That simple heartbeat is as essential and as perfect in anything you will ever do from this moment going forward. That action, that vibration to act, meaning those things you have chosen to define for yourself that I described to you before about your drive, your discipline, your desire. That action, that vibration to act, to lead, that must come first from your heart and not from your mind. Resilience, the beauty of presence, talks about the spiritual power and force of leadership that lives within every person and every organization. With or without that bucket list, resilience reminds you of the power and force that you already have from wherever you are, and that compels you to do whatever you do. That is your awareness of your presence, the present feeling of your presence. So don't burn your bucket list. Just remember that you already have the essence of anything, everything on that list. You have created a list from the vision you felt you needed to do. And on that topic, enjoy this moment. Stay present, stay current. No matter where you are in this world, please remember, it is always 8:20.